Hey, what is up, fight fans? Michael Hernandez here of MLH Media, and we are here back for the 10-second mark, back with another great guest, a guest that's going to be fighting on 559 Fights 101 in the co-main event, Jacky Green, Jacky Mean Green, for all those people in Visalia that have known her and supported her for quite a while. How you doing today, Jacky?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty awesome getting to talk to you. Obviously, a career that has been in the 559 fights kind of world, the realm for quite a long time now. He had that first career win against Devi Strong. And that was actually funny enough. That was my mom's first ever 559 fights. So you grew a
Oh,
fan out of my mother. She is a very big Mean Jacky Green fan.
oh, sweet.
Yes, it was a great fight. So take us through that. How was that for somebody to get fresh out of, just going to high school, I believe, right? You were just kind of graduated, we're still in the wrestling process, and to go into an MMA fight. I feel that's not an experience that a lot of fighters get to experience.
Yeah. With that first fight, I was still in high school. It was right before our wrestling season. I think we had done maybe one tournament. I didn't do that one, obviously, because I think that was the day of my fight. It's the same tournament. So, but yeah, like going in as a high schooler, it wasn't like as intimidating as you think it would be, mainly because I've been doing this for so long. I've been doing this since I was 5 years old. Started off with judo, and then I went into jiu-jitsu when I was around 10 years old over at Elite. It's a great gym. And then I started Muay Thai with Doug, and he's kind of helped me with boxing, Muay Thai, all that stuff. Kind of just helped me collaborate everything all together, just so that whenever it comes to my fight, exactly what to do, and it wasn't like anything new. But definitely, like for my first fight, it was like a slap in the face because you get in there and it's like you're so used to just like going in with like boxing gloves and during training, all that stuff, and then you get hit and you're just like, damn, like it's completely different. But the energy is all around is just absolutely, it's like addicting. Just having like a whole crowd around you and being in like Visalia and the fight being in Visalia, it was just 100% better.
It must have been pretty surreal for you, somebody that has repped Visalia ever since they were younger. So ever since they've been wrestling, ever since they've been doing all those activities that you were just saying, you have always had the city of Visalia on your back. Tell us about that representation that Visalia gives you, because I feel you get a lot of love from the city of Visalia, not only from sponsors, but just people that are out and supporting as well, people within the Rhino Martials community, people within the mixed martial arts community. Everyone loves Mean Jacky Green, man.
Growing up here, it's a small town. Everybody kind of really just like has their own people, but everybody at least likes to watch fighting. Everyone likes to watch fighting. If you don't, then it's like you're kind of just like, other sports. But fighting kind of just is a different community. Everybody there, you're by yourself in a way that you're not. You have a team behind you, but at the end of the day, you're going in the ring by yourself. So having that whole town behind you, supporting you, really makes it feel like you're not just in there by yourself. So, and with Vassili, they're all very close and very supportive. And they've always been supportive of me. My whole team, everybody there, they've all been right by my side.
Yeah, speaking about that team a little bit, two men that have been in your corner for quite some time now. But you had spoke a little bit earlier about it. Tom Knox earlier over at Elite Team Visalia, as well as Doug the Rhino Marshall, a former WEC badass, one of the most badass men that the Central Valley has ever thrown into the octagon. How is it to
Mm-hmm.
get to have such a special relationship with him? He has called you his son on occasions, his long lost son. How is it to kind of have that relationship with your coach? And
Yeah, so I've known Tom since I was about 10 years old. I started off with the kids class there with Josh Cisneros and all of them. So it's all been like we've all kind of grown up with each other. And so Tom, he's always kind of just been my coach. I've always known him as my coach. He's been a great guy. His gym is absolutely amazing. Everybody there is just absolutely badass. Everybody there, you get a good round every time you go to practice. And then with Doug is like he's like a father figure to me. He's he's just goofy. He's funny, but he's like the best coach you could ever ask for because he's there for you for everything. He wants to see you succeed. He'll never put you up for failure. He's like all around an amazing coach, and just his all like during practice, you could see he's always trying to help other people, and it's just an absolutely amazing environment to be around.
How was your guys' first ever interaction? Because I know you said you got into the mixed martial arts a little bit early. You were at the age of 5, kind of getting into judo. What was your guys' first ever kind of training session like? What was the first ever time hitting the pads with a Coach Rhino looking like?
So it was over. He used to train people over at Elite. So I had gone from jiu-jitsu straight to Muay Thai, and he already knew kind of like who I was just because I've been training jiu-jitsu for so long. And so whenever I went there, he had me going with somebody. I don't remember who it was, but he was asking me to like, do the combo, all that stuff, and then he had me do it with him. And I think it was a kick. He was like, "Okay, kick," and then I go and I kicked as hard as I could, not thinking anything. And he was like, "What the fuck?" And he was like, "Okay, okay." And he just after that, it was just like he kind of knew that I was there to like actually like train. I was there to be the best, and so he was kind of just like took me under his wing.
Has this always been a goal for Jacky Green? When kids are little, they're oftentimes are writing out what they want to be when they grow up. I want to be a postman. I want to go and do this. I want to be a doctor. Was it always to be an MMA fighter? Was that always the goal?
So when I was first little, I started off with dance. I was a dancer. I did ballet and tap and all that stuff, and I liked it. And then my mom, she had put me into judo just so I can learn how to defend myself. And she didn't think that I would like fall in love with it. She kind of just thought it would be like, oh, like a month thing. She'll like it, and she'll just want to be over with it. And so I loved it. And my dad, he started showing me videos of like Ronda Rousey and how, because she's just absolutely amazing with her judo. Like her game is just beautiful.
Insane.
And he started showing me that she like fought and all that stuff. And I was like, oh my God, that's like that's cool. Like I want to do that. And he started showing me like Kimbo Slice, all those people. And I was like, dang, like that's something I want to do. I know that's something I want to do. And so my mom, she's hesitant on it. She supports me, but she's just like, I don't want to watch my daughter fight, obviously. But my dad, he's all about it. He loves watching me fight. He's like, he tells all his friends and like all that stuff. And yeah, so
That's pretty interesting. The mom is she oftentimes, that's kind of funny that you say that. My grandmother is a lot of times the same way. She's never watched any of the fights because even though I tell her, I'm like, I'm not the one getting punched, I'm the guy interviewing people after, she's like, no, I just can't like watch, contain it. So your mother is definitely not the only person that does not like to watch people get punched. But has
yeah.
that changed throughout the years? Has she kind of been a little bit more adjusting, especially now that you're starting to hop into the cage and you're obviously starting to build some pretty big opportunities?
Yeah, so when I was little, she was kind of just like wanting me to like she supported me behind it, but then she was also like, I kind of hope she didn't want to fight anymore. She was like, I don't want her to, get hit. But she knew that at some point it was gonna be a set thing. There's no changing my mind, no nothing. And now she's still the same way, but she's always there no matter what. She's been at every single fight, all my matches for wrestling, everything. And she's always telling me how she's like her heart's pounding so fast, everything. She gets so nervous during the fight, but she'll always be there. But she says it'll never change. She'll always be nervous.
Is there ever a chance that we're ever going to see Jacky Green back into the dance studio? I know that you were saying a little bit, obviously it was a past passion, a past flame, but is there any chance we may get to see Jacky Green doing some ballet, doing some type of dance in the near future?
So actually, my 8th grade year, I was doing basketball and volleyball and all that stuff as well as my fighting. And I kept telling my grandma, I was like, I want to go back to dance. And I tried, and it was like the first day I was supposed to go, I couldn't go because I had a basketball game and I had practice right after. And so she was just like, we're not gonna do it, we're just gonna scratch it. And I was like, yeah, we're just gonna scratch it. Because I ended up never doing it, and I don't think I'll ever go back to doing it again.
Wow. Well, it looks like MMA is strictly on Jacky Green's mind, which is definitely a great thing for all of her fans, a great thing for all the people that are supporting her. But a little bit of a thing that I also wanted to touch up on as well. Kind of, we were going a little bit throughout the years. We were talking. You just touched up on a little bit on your middle school. How about that high school career though? Definitely pretty damn good at wrestling over there at Golden West, number 5 in the state in your respective weight class. How was it to get to wrestle at Golden West, a school that's I had some success in in wrestling over the years, and definitely the city of Visalia has always been a haven of wrestlers, always brought out a lot of people, just not only men, but now women. I mean, you, Jenna Creason, all these girls are starting to break barriers and starting to show that the Central Valley has these killers in the wrestling for the women's division. So how is that to kind of break that barrier and to be one of those girls that's kind of, it's like the founding women of Valley MMA in a sense?
Yeah, so over at Golden West, I absolutely loved it. The whole team, the coaches were just absolutely amazing. It really is just like one huge family. And I think so for it was my first year just strictly wrestling. Like I've never done like a wrestling class before that or anything. My first year walking into that, my like first day walking into that gym was my first day ever just wrestling. And so I had gone in, and obviously I was all set, and I thought it was like jujitsu. I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to my back. No, no, you're not going to your back in wrestling. And so, my coach Robbie, he's like our girl coach. He's he kept telling me, so you know, knock that shit off. He was like, that's not gonna work here. And I was like, okay, okay. So then after a while, they all kind of helped me, and it just kind of clicked. It was like a light. It was immediately just I kind of understood exactly what to do. And so our first tournament, I believe I want to say I got second for my first tournament. And it was at the Rim Shootout. And that was my freshman year. And then after that, I didn't have a clean record my freshman year. My freshman year, I think I was so set on head and arm throws, just coming from judo and all that stuff. I was so like scared to like shoot. It was just not my thing. And so I was just always head and arm throw, head and arm throw. And it got me far. I went to Masters, and I ended up dislocating my shoulder in Masters on the last round to go to state. And so if I had won that round, I would have gone straight to state my freshman year. And I ended up dislocating my shoulder. And I still wrestled when it happened in the round. It was the beginning of the round. And I still ended up wrestling, and I almost pinned him. And time ran out. We had to go back to the middle, and then he shot me down, pinned me, all that stuff. So then it was over, but I went as an alternate for state. So I kind of got to see how state was, what it looked like, kind of what to expect. And then COVID hit sophomore year. I didn't get to wrestle or anything, which sucked. But my junior year, I went in, and it was like completely different. I was a completely different wrestler. It was a lot faster. My IQ, my wrestling IQ was just up there. I knew like just what to do with each of my opponents, and it was kind of just it all just clicked. And so I went completely undefeated throughout the year to state, and I got to the semifinals, and I lost to the girl who placed first. And so yeah, and I ended up placing fifth, and it was an absolutely amazing experience. And then my senior year, I was ranked number one through half the season, and I believe I lost to the girl that was number two. And so that was at a random tournament. And then I went and I went to state, all that stuff, and then I lost again in the semis, which was kind of like it sucked, but I was like, it's all right. Things happen. Everything happens for a reason. And for the fifth place spot, I ended up wrestling the girl who I lost to beginning of the season. So it was supposed to be the two people who were supposed to go to the finals, the first and the second seed. We ended up wrestling for fifth and sixth, and I beat her. So, and she was Kaylee Rice, and we're good friends now. I love her. She's awesome. She's over wrestling at Texas. But yeah, so we ended up wrestling, and I won for the fifth place. So I got fifth again, but it was a great experience. I was grateful for it all.
I'm glad that you got to have not only a great experience, but also got to make some friends out of the whole ordeal. Obviously, an experience like that, like how you said, you guys had that first and second, maybe built into the mind a little bit, but it's still pretty cool that you guys got to finish off the season against each other, and everything got to kind of fold out the way it did. Was there ever a possibility of you? I know obviously MMA is kind of your number one. It's the thing that you're focusing on the most right now. Was there ever a possibility of us seeing Jacky Green on the collegiate level for wrestling? Was there ever any chance of you going and doing that? Because I know a lot of people, a lot of MMA fighters especially, they like to try and go wrestle as long as they can. Was there ever any chance of that happening?
So my freshman year, I came in like I didn't even know what state was. I didn't know what Masters was. I didn't know that it was like something that could be so big. And so I didn't even know what All American was. I didn't know what any of that stuff was. I was like, oh, okay, I'm coming in here to learn wrestling so that whenever I go to fight, I know how to wrestle. And then my my junior year came and I got All American. They had put me for All American for sophomore year as well, just because there was nobody there to put. And then so junior year, going to state and all that stuff, I obviously knew what that was. And then I kind of considered it. I was getting offers from a lot of big schools. And so I was kind of just like, oh, like, maybe I would. But then I found out that like wrestling, in college, you're not able to do any of your other sports. You can't do any of that if you're on a scholarship. So then I was kind of like, no, it's not something I do. I don't want to take 4 years off of MMA just for wrestling. It's not something that is my passion. And so going in, it was like I got to have my glory in wrestling. I got to do all that stuff. I was 3-time All-American for going west. And it was like, oh, it was fun. It was a moment and all that. But I was like, but now it's back to go fighting. I got to go fight now. It's time to, do what I really came to do.
That mindset is unbreakable, man. The fact that you had many schools kind of lining up and offering, saying, hey, come over here. I'm pretty sure a lot of people, no matter the passion, no matter the circumstances, they would have took that college offer. But you were so confident in yourself, so confident in your abilities that you're saying, hey, college can wait. I got the skill. I know I can go to college. I know I can do all this. Let's test it out while you're young. And obviously it has done pretty well for yourself. 2-0 in the 170-pound division in the California amateur women's scene, dropping down to 155. Was there a lot of discussion going into that, or has this always been the plan? Is this all part of a bigger plan? Take us through it.
So my first fight, it was supposed to be for Valley Fight Series. It was against I don't remember the name, but it was supposed to be for 155. So my whole fight camp, I was cutting down to 155, and I was actually there. I was at 155 exactly. It was 4 days prior to my fight, and the girl ended up backing out for reasons. And so I was bummed. And then 559 hit up Doug, and they said, hey, like, if your girl wants to fight 170s, we have a girl. And he was like, yeah, like, obviously that's my walk around weight. That's what I wrestled at, was at 170. So I was like, yeah, no problem. And then my last one, we were trying to look for a 155, but since it was such short notice, they did 170s, all that stuff. And then now, so this one being 155, that's what we knew we wanted. I didn't want to fight at 170s no more. So knowing that I'm most likely going to be going pro for my next fight, they're not going to have a 170s division. I want to be able to get down to 55s, and then when I go to pro, 45s is the plan.
So pros are going to be hitting that 145 division. That 145 division, it's pretty wide open right now in the UFC. Is that kind of the plan? What is if you had a 5-year trajectory, maybe a couple years plan, what is the big plan that Jacky Green would love for everything to kind of fall into?
So I'm definitely probably going to go fight for A1, most likely for my first pro fight. And then depending on how it goes, maybe LFA, any of that stuff for feeders into the UFC. And then definitely I want to get into UFC, get my first fight in there. It's been my dream for forever. And so hopefully in 5 years, I'm in there and I'm fighting and I'm getting my name out there.
I know that we were talking a little bit earlier about Ronda Rousey, but I just kind of touched up a little bit on how the 145 division is a little wide open at the moment. I mean, you have Raquel Pennington, maybe that could fill in that 145 spot. Is there anybody over there in the UFC that you look at and you're like, wow, them at the 145 division or 135 division, that's just someone that they're pretty cool to watch?
Obviously, Amanda Nunes, like, she was obviously great to watch. She's a freaking killer out there. I always like watching Cyborg. She was always enjoyable to watch. I like watching Holly Holmes, all of them. But for 145s, I don't know. I never really like pay attention most likely to like who the people are. I just watch the fights, really. I'm just over there. I'm like, okay, like I just watch them. That's about it.
Jacky, it has been absolutely amazing talking to you today. It has been an honor to get to sit down with the one and only mean Jacky Green. Just a couple of more questions here for you. 559 fights 101. Obviously going to be a huge event. You're going to be facing off against Laurynn Garcia. You've had a TKO in your last fight, a decision in your first ever fight. What are your predictions? You got some Mystic Mac predictions that you're pulling out here for this fight, or are you really just looking to go into this one and see how everything plays out?
So going into fights, I always know we both want the same thing. Me and my opponent both want the same thing, is to win. Obviously, nobody wants to go and lose. So I just want to go in, feel it out. I know if it gets on the ground, I know exactly what to do. There's nothing that I don't have answers for. That's what my coaches always say. There's nothing that you don't know what to do that you can't solve in the ring. So going in, I kind of just want to feel it out, see what she's coming in with. If she wants to come in hot, just control that. Control the fight pretty much. I want to be in charge of the fight, and just so like everything he says calm, use my range, all that stuff. And if it gets to the ground, then I know what to do.
Yes, you definitely have I was gonna comment on that a little bit earlier. I feel your ability to fight within the pressure is something that is not really heralded enough, or is not really shown. Because I mean, even in that Debbie fight, that you had ate a jab, and I was just like, wow, a lot of girls they just would have fell to that, completely gone down. But you went to your back, and it was like Charles Oliveira-esque almost. You were ready for the battle. Has that always been something that you've instilled in you, that never quit attitude? Like, hey, even if I'm going to the ground, you're gonna have to work to finish me.
Yeah. So I've always at my gym, I'm all around guys. That's all. I don't really have any girls to train with. So going in with them, they don't go easy on me. They give me hot ones all the time, and so it's like I kind of have the feel for it. So it's like I'm so used to going with them, and it's kind of just made things like that easy. I get a couple spars in with Doug, and we all know who Doug is, and so it's like um those punches, I have the ability to eat them. Obviously, I don't want to. It's not something fun to eat a punch, but I can. And if it goes down to where it's like it's going hot and we're all in the pocket and we're shooting shots, everything, and I'm down. I'm game. I'm able to go in there. I can get dirty in there and say I don't mind. It's fun. That's part of the fight.
Some would say you get almost as red as the hair that is on top of your head.
Yes, yep. That's how it's
Hey,
always been. Every single time, the second I start to break a sweat, my face just goes beet red.
beat red. Yeah, no, it's the Irish in you. It's definitely the Irish in you. Ian Gary, it's probably seen it a couple of times. Conor McGregor, definitely in the right type of culture for MMA, with that Irish genes running through your blood. But
Yeah,
definitely pretty exciting fight that I'm looking forward to. A brown belt on the ground over there, and Laurynn Garcia, and then I believe you're a blue belt or a purple belt.
blue belt. Yeah,
Blue belt,
I've been
but
on blue belt since I was like 16, I think.
I was gonna say a very experienced blue belt though, because you have
Yeah,
you have been one of those I call it's this new age of BJJ, because a lot of these fighters that are on, maybe older, not like fresh out of high school, they weren't training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu all throughout their lives, all the way from ages 5 and up. So now we're kind of getting to see these age of kids that have strictly been training MMA, strictly been doing this for their whole lives. So it's pretty interesting to get to see all these younger cats kind of go up and get to face off against obviously people that have been staples in the division. Are you pretty
yeah,
excited to see where the fight, if it does go on the ground? Because like how you're saying, you don't really get to go with a lot of women competitors in the gym.
yeah. So I'm very excited, knowing that she is experienced in jiu-jitsu. It makes me excited because I get to show my table. Um, I definitely want to show more of my stand up in this game, more because my past fights I haven't really been able to show my technique in it, mainly because my opponents like to rush. We always end up being like a rush, so it's like I don't really get to show my techniques, and I really want to be able to show what I bring to the table, show you that I know what I'm doing. I'm experienced. I know what I can do, and I belong here.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of fans already definitely know you belong in that cage, but you cementing that idea and you furthering pushing that prerogative, I feel like it will definitely not only continue to build that fan base of yours, but continue to make those fans of yours happy. But Jacky, that it looks like you answered all my questions. You passed the MLH Media test. Was there anything that you wanted to say? Anything that you wanted to end off the call on? I know that you obviously have a lot of sponsors, a lot of people that support you, your gym mates. Anybody in particular though that you wanted to thank for this fight coming up?
Yeah, so obviously I want to give all glory to God because without him, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to showcase my abilities. And I want to thank my parents. I want to thank my coaches, my friends, my family. I want to thank Rush Bowls, 1776 Sports Nutrition, No Weak Shit Ever, Justin Mosley, and Underdog Athletics.
I just seen that sponsorship with No Weak Shit Ever. How is that to get to collaborate with the brand? I actually got a little bit of a collaboration with them back in the day as well. How is it to get to put your name behind a brand that obviously instills exactly what you're about? Just
Yeah, I'm extremely excited. You know, I love what they stand for and everything. And I love that I'm their first female athlete that is able to represent them. And so I'm very excited to showcase them in this next fight.
yes, that will definitely be a pretty cool shirt design whenever they do start to drop those Mean Jacky Green No Weak Shit Ever collab shirts. But I really appreciate your time today, Jacky. It was awesome getting to catch up with you. Obviously, very much looking forward to your fight on November 18th for 559 Fights 101, as you will be looking to capture that lightweight championship for the women's division against Laurynn Garcia over there from the Southern California area. Thank you so much for your time today, Jacky. It is going to be Michael Hernandez of MLH Media, and we're going to be signing out here today for this 10-second mark with Mean Jacky Green.